anytime someone asks me, why did you decide to take the time and effort to make a standalone Sunday Keys app? My answer is the same, because there are tons of feature ideas that we had that we wanted to make possible for Worship Keys players that just couldn't be accomplished in any other solution out there, whether software like MainStage or Ableton Live, or any hardware keyboard available on the market. We had these ideas, and the only way that we could figure out to accomplish it was to build something from scratch. Today is a deep dive into patch snapshots, which is one of the most popular and game-changing features. It's only possible inside of the Sunday Keys app for iPad and for Mac. Let's check it out. So we're gonna start with the fundamentals, and by the end of this video, you're gonna know everything you need to know to take full advantage of all of the powerful functionality inside of snapshots. Now, every patch has a default snapshot, and you can add up to 5 snapshots to every patch. And there's all sorts of things that a snapshot can store, the most obvious of which is the volume fader for every sound in your patch. Now, you can add a new snapshot by just selecting an empty spot, making the adjustments you'd like, and then hitting save. So now I have 2 snapshots. And when I select one, you can see this volume is fading slowly over time. If I change midway, then we adjust the timing and start fading towards the position of that other snapshot. Now, where is this timing coming from? Let me show you. You're gonna hit the hamburger menu in the top corner and choose Settings, and then there's an option in the menu called Snapshots. This is the default timing and behavior for every snapshot that you create. And there's a bunch of options here. You can choose the transition type. So do we want to measure that in time or in beats? The transition length. So since we're in time here, we can choose in seconds, from an instant transition up to 10 seconds. If we change this to beats, then we measure in beats and bars. So I could say a 1 bar long transition up to a 4 bar long transition. More about different transition types a little later. But this is intelligent and adjusts to your tap tempo. So if you're at 60, it's gonna be 1 bar at 60. If you're at 120, it's gonna be twice as fast as that. Let's go back to time, 8 seconds. Now we've got transition behaviors for audio effects and for MIDI effects. The audio effects have a few options. They can fade, so if they're on or off in a given snapshot, they can fade between those states, or you can have them snap to their on or off state at the start, middle, or end of the transition. So that means if you had a 4-second long transition and you chose start, then all of your audio effects would snap on or off based on how they're saved at the very beginning of that transition. At the middle, that means it would happen at the 2-second mark if your transition length is 4 seconds, and then end would wait until the transition's completely finished and then change. For MIDI effects, you have similar options. You can have them snap at the start, the middle, or the end. You can't really fade a MIDI effect, so that's not an option there. Okay, I'm gonna go back to fade here, start. Couple more settings: Snapshot Adjust Mod Wheel and Snapshot Adjust Tonic Pad. Depending on the state of these toggles, your default snapshots, any new snapshot you create, will or will not store the position of your mod wheel and the settings for your tonic pad. I tend to leave Snapshot Adjust Mod Wheel on and Snapshot Adjust Tonic Pad off for my defaults. More on why as we get further into the video. So that's the default menu, and that defines the timing for all of these default snapshots. So I'm gonna go ahead and long press on any snapshot, or 2-finger or right click on a Mac. I'm gonna clear this snapshot and we're gonna go back to just 1. I'm gonna add a pad sound. Pad I've been using all of the time recently is this angelic soft pad from the bank of soft pads we released a few months ago. Nice and subtle, not getting in the way of the piano. Okay, so this might be my starting point. I'm gonna save that. Let's go to snapshot 2. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger, louder. But I also wanna make it brighter, so I'm gonna bring the mod wheel up. And I'm going to save. And remember, because my default snapshot settings were that the snapshot should adjust the mod wheel, as I go between these 2 snapshots, the mod wheel is going to be adjusted. So the volume is increasing or decreasing, and the brightness, because the mod wheel, is increasing or decreasing. There we go. So we've talked about storing volumes, we've talked about storing the mod wheel position. We can also turn on and off effects. So let's say for snapshot 2, I like a little bit of delay. So I'm going to save that on. And then when I leave that snapshot, it's going to fade out because remember my audio effects transition type was set to fade. Then when I select snapshot 2, it's going to fade back in. So we've got 2 snapshots now. We're automating the volume and audio effects states over time. And that timing is the default timing that's within the settings menu. But let's say that we needed something specific to happen very fast. Let's say that we wanted for a 3rd snapshot to cut down to just that piano. We wanted the octave to be on. We wanted the delay to be on. And we need it to happen very quickly. So now I'm going to save this snapshot 3. I'm going to long press here, and I'm going to choose Customize from the menu. Now, when I turn on Use Custom Settings, I'm presented with much the same options as that general snapshot menu I showed you in Settings, but now I'm looking at only custom settings for this one snapshot. So if I wanted to, I could set the timing to be instant. This means that the length of the snapshot transition is just going to be immediate. So I can be here, smooth timing, build up to snapshot 2. And because my transition time is 8 seconds, this happens over 8 seconds. But then I can hit instant. And that custom timing takes over. So there's loads you can do within the customize menu. I often will end up using beat transitions when I'm customizing, and I'll set something to happen very, very, very slowly. So I might do, let's add a big sound. I'll add this Jericho poly lead. I'm going to place this in only my right hand. So we'll save this kind of an all-in moment. Then I'm going to bring the volume down here. We'll bring the brightness to midway. And then to start the song off, we'll be very subtle. So now I can be here. 2 default snapshot transition times. Now I can select this 4-bar transition. And it's happening over 4 bars at 120. So very, very smooth. That sort of producer, trick that would happen with automation in the studio. Now I can adjust the tempo. So let's say that I'm now playing like a ballad, right? I was probably playing a ballad tempo-wise anyway. So nice, smooth, subtle transitions. So take advantage of the Customize menu. Just long press or 2-finger right click on any snapshot and choose Customize, and then you can dial in the exact timing that you need. Now let's talk more about this long press menu. You've got a few more options. Rename is one that I use all the time. So you can make the name of every snapshot something that's going to be familiar to you. So it's not just remembering which number is what. So this is my big snapshot. I would say, maybe an intro. So you can name these specific parts of songs, a chord that you want to remember, whatever. Mid, something like that. So now I have intro, mid, and big. So you or a volunteer can just look at what part of the song am I in, or how big do I need to be, and choose the right snapshot, and that transition is going to be seamless. But let's say we want to start the song off big. So now I can long press and choose rearrange and drag big over to that first position. Anytime a patch is selected, the first snapshot in the patch is automatically going to be selected. So if I were to add a different patch to my set list here, like this, and then come back to this patch, my big snapshot is going to now start me off because it's first in the order. and then I can move through the song however I would like. So by saving the volume and the effect levels with custom timing for up to 15 sounds, you can accomplish incredible things while, pretty much just keeping your hands on the keyboard. And if you happen to use the Loop Connect integration, you can have the Prime Multitrack app automating your snapshot changes, so you literally can just play piano and your snapshots will automatically follow along. So if you'd like to learn more about Loop Connect, we'll put a link in the description to a video all about how that works. Automating snapshots as your tracks play back is even more incredible. But one more thing that I want to show you, and this is the newest thing that we've added to Snapshots, is the ability to automate the Tonic Pad. And this is a pretty robust integration of automating Tonic. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to long press here. We're going to go back to this original order. So by default, since my snapshot settings globally do not have the Tonic Pad controlled, that means that Tonic is just sort of free floating. So I can turn it on, change the key, and this is all happening on the fly. Now, if I'd like these settings to be automatically recalled when I next select this patch, I can turn on patch lock. That means I can go to a different patch, make changes, turn Tonic off or whatever, then select that snapshot, and those settings are going to be seamlessly recalled. You can see that the volume is even fading up smoothly over time, which is fantastic. Let me turn this up a bit. We've got this warm preset here, which sounds great. We can tap on the preset name to open the menu, and you can take very detailed control over the pad. Right? Add whichever layers you'd like, choose different presets, adjust the crossfade time so it happens a little faster. Right, so you can obviously dial in whatever kind of pad sound you'd like here within the Tonic Pad. But let's say that I really like the character of the pad. I just want it to kind of grow with me as I'm growing my keys parts. So I'm going to hit done here. We'll say that I want to start the song with this setting. So patch lock is already going to bring me here. But then when I hit this midpoint, let's say that I want the pad to sort of change or grow a little bit. So I'm going to turn on customize and say snapshot adjust tonic pad. Now I'm going to open this menu back up. I'm going to simply increase the volume of this strings layer because it's a little bit bright, right? So that's going to add just a little bit of top end shimmer. I'm going to hit done and now save. So I've updated this second snapshot, this mid snapshot, to store the tonic pad settings that I just dialed in. Now let's do it one more time. I'm going to go to this big snapshot, and let's say here I really want to, kind of take the roof off of things. I want it to be completely different, noticeably different. So let me find a different preset entirely. Thinking something kind of bright, like that. I can adjust the mix. This would be for maybe a big bridge where I don't need any low end anymore because the bass player's hammering away, but I want to fill that sort of bright, energetic space. Okay, so now I'm going to go here, snapshot adjust tonic pad, and I'm going to hit save. So now I've updated these two snapshots here, but let's go ahead and reinitialize the patch. I'm going to store this intro setting here as well. So then even if I move back to that snapshot later, these settings are going to be recalled. So now I have 3 levels of intensity for my tonic pad. So this is my intro, mid-range, and then big. Now the transition time here for these changes is determined by the crossfade control. So if you want them to happen a little bit faster, more aggressively, you can bring that down there like that, and these changes will happen a bit more quickly. So now I could just be playing along. Hear that extra little bit of sparkle coming in from the pad. And then big. So this is very useful. You can probably intuit a bunch of reasons why you might want to use this. You can even store different keys. So if you need to build in a modulation or a different volume level, different brightness, different shimmer, turn the tonic pad on and off. You can adjust all of those things too. So now we're here in G. Pretty cool to be able to do this kind of thing without having to think about it while you're just playing the piano. Now, let me show you a couple more like sort of power user things that most people probably aren't realizing they can do with snapshots. I'm going to change play in and hear in transpose to the key of A also. We're going to keep these in A, but I'm going to just turn the pad off so you can really hear what I'm doing when it comes to this angelic soft pad. I'm going to bring the volume up and let you just focus on this pad for a moment. So let's say I want to just play this pad, right? Nice and easy. But then as the song gets bigger, maybe I want to end up actually able to play a big lead part in the right hand. Like. Do I want the pad trying to follow along? I mean, maybe, but it's not really doing a great job. And because I'm jumping the octave, I'm losing that warmth, that sort of mid-range, you know, gluey warm pad thing when I play this. So what I'm going to do is turn on Easy Chord. I'm going to load in something, I like the simple pad chords 1. Now I have dynamic layer ranges on, which is a setting that, again, maybe some of you don't know about, inside of Performance. Show dynamic layer ranges. This means that on the main screen, when you have the Easy Chord or sequencer effects on, it's just going to show you the available notes to play. Easy Chord, if you're not familiar with it, the overview is you play one note, you hear multiple notes back. You can program it, you can choose presets. It's a way to have more at your fingertips. So you can see that with just my left-hand bass notes now, I'm able to get that nice full pad sound. So what I would do is bring these layers in and save, and then otherwise, I would keep Easy Chord off. So I'm able to play and then I get that huge pad, and I can still play that lead part in the right hand. So you can hear that pad just holding everything down. So essentially by using snapshots to turn these effects on and off, I'm able to snap between two different layer ranges for that pad sound, which is pretty incredible. So I'm able to bring it just like that. You can use this for any sound that you'd like. I've even used it with programmed Easy Chord to just move a layer around from one spot to the other in a given patch. Maybe I have a sound that I want to have playable in two different ranges, and I don't want to just add a second sound. I want to be as efficient as possible. So I'll use Easy Chord for one of those ranges, and I'll program the normal range, which is here, for the other. And then it allows you to just toggle back and forth on the fly. So there's truly a mind-bending number of things that you can do and accomplish with snapshots. And remember, I've only shown you a patch with 3 sounds. Just imagine what you could do as you get up to 5, 10, even 15 sounds at once. Snapshots are an incredible feature that are only possible inside of the Sunday Keys app. So if you'd like to learn more about Sunday Keys, check out the link in the description. If you're using the app already and this video taught you something new about snapshots, leave a comment and let us know what you learned. We want to make sure people know about how to use these powerful features, so maybe it'll help us figure out what video we should do next.